This is your daily market review for Monday, February 13th, 2023. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market review for Monday, February 13th, 2023. Hopefully you're having a great weekend. This is going to be an interesting review because we're going to talk about a lot of what ifs, potentialities, try to keep people involved in what's going to happen tomorrow. Hopefully, if you're following on the Discord room, on Twitter, we talked about if you had shorts, take them at the open. Expect the market to rise potentially in the CPI. And guess what? Looking for short opportunities potentially tomorrow morning, maybe tomorrow afternoon, maybe even Wednesday. Let's talk about it. Stick around. I appreciate everybody. Support, love, donations. This is going to be a good one. You're going to need to hear this stuff. So if you're new to the channel, Discord room is in the link below or description below. Also put a little calendar invite. If you ever wanted to meet or chat, do a little remote chat. I like to help out people who are involved in the channel. Let me know. We'll try to schedule something. Again, follow me on Twitter. Post what's going on, what we're doing. I think people hopefully saw the tweets. Definitely posted a lot of charts and the levels. Please follow, subscribe. It's, always trying to keep people informed of what we're up to. Again, went 60% cash as of the open. 3 bullish days on the Stock Traders Almanac, which we've talked about going into ChopX. Remember, ChopX up and down, but typically you might have an up part of the week and then a down part of the week. Well, then you get into the seasonality, which we've talked about. Here are the seasonality notes, month to month. February, a little heavier profit taking from mid-February to the end of the month. Well, guess what? We're getting very close to mid-February. So, also too, please subscribe if you're following, listen to on YouTube, and then also check out the Back to Basics videos. There's so many of them. Videos on OpEx, ChopX, all this stuff. Trying to keep people informed and educate them. Again, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. If you're willing to work, I'm willing to feed you and give you the information that I use to create trading edges that are successful. Again, not much of a day trader, more of a swing trader, but again, every trade starts intraday. Keep that in mind, obviously. All right, let's get into the tickers. Bitcoin. We talked about it coming down into the mid 21,000s, and here you are, bouncing, chopping. We'll see what happens from here. I personally think that, whatever, you could probably get up to this. Again, if I was intraday trading, again, I'm not going to be trading Bitcoin, but for the folks who are following, who want to have insights, I'd be watching that mid 22,000 level because that's been support, then it broke, now it's resistance. I personally think kind of like gold, like everything, rates have to go higher. They're going to probably smoke down this stuff at some point. Then they're the ultimate buys. Oil. Talked about it, bouncing, chopping. Now you're getting more of like a head and shoulders. We talked about that potentially could happen here. Either way, I'm not shorting or long oil. I'd like to see oil in the mid 60s. Remember, oil is the second most abundant liquid on the planet. In the planet, whatever. Like, there's a ton of it. So when you talk about shortages, again, it's more of a bottleneck. How long that lasts because of what's going on. A lot of, geopolitical crap, obviously. Personally think that at some point it will go lower or it will spike higher and put the feds in the ultimate pickle because that's what's going to create inflation, right? It's kind of like the price of water if it ever went up a ton. How, the price of whatever things, like basics, like oil is that much a part of the economy. Nat gas. A lot of people love it. I'm just, again, I could see a bounce, but I'd rather be late. And again, people are like, oh, why don't you look at nat gas? I'm like, there's a billion other better trades. Move on. Wait for nat gas. Just let it play out. Because again, if they raise rates and the economy slows down, and you had this bottleneck of all the storage of natural gas because of the refineries closed and the transports closed, well, maybe nat gas is just stuck for a little while. Maybe you need to burn it off, literally, essentially. The dollar. We talked about bottoming down here being a trap. You're welcome. Now it's holding up. Things that are bearish, holding up tight is fine by me. Maybe it can come back down to the 2770s mid. Either way, it looks like it's staging to go higher. Go up. Remember we talked about gaps and then chop. Gap and then chop. Gap and then chop. You see this all over. The gap and then chop and then a little gap up and then fail. But this is pretty typical with the dollar. So just keep that in mind. TLT. Everyone loves when the rates go lower and the TLT gets bought. As of right now, we have a clear double top at the 200-day. I think rates will go higher because I think inflation's going to entrench in. But again, with the CPI tomorrow, don't know. So either way,
be thoughtful. My mind is kind of indifferent to what rates do. I'd like to see rates go lower so I can buy more real estate, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went higher first if inflation trenches in. Remember, the Feds have never navigated a soft landing. They were too slow to raise rates for 10 years. Do you think they're going to be too slow to raise rates with CPI? And again, CPI reading will be slightly different. Point being is that inflation entrenched in. My guess is that they're going to be slow rolling, way too hard. The VIX, pop and flop, chop. Again, hold over the 50-day. I wouldn't be surprised even if it got back to 20. That'd be fine with that. Or the 20-day. Watch that. Write in your notes. Again, I did a whole video on levels, areas to watch, right? Right? So write down. Again, I'm going to write it down and put it. I'm actually tattooing it on my forehead. 1950 20-day. Tattooed on my forehead. I can't miss it tomorrow. Hopefully, if we see that, jump on it. SPY, not surprised it popped. Again, this is why you take profits into the open. Talked about it getting down to the low end of the range. Nice little pop up here. Chop is normal. Chop is normal before indecision, right? Put call ratio is a little too high in my opinion, so I'm not surprised we rallied. Volumes are light, chopping up here. Could it go higher? Absolutely. That's why we're probability-based traders, and you trade around your position. You don't buy and hold 100% all the time, especially when you're at, indecision moments due to data or potential just inflection points. Like, everyone loves to see a V bottom, but you get a lot of chop tops and chop bottoms, y'all. It's just part of the game. So let it rise, see what happens. Again, I could it go to new highs out, obviously, but QQQ, 20% rally in a bear market, not unnormal or not unusual. So at this point, not surprised. A little dead cat bounce. Like, this thing was leading down, back testing. Can it get back up to 309? I doubt it. I mean, I have 304 to 303 to 305 as my max upside. We'll see what happens, right? We'll absolutely see what happens, because maybe it can go up to 309. Like, put that in the back of your mind. You don't know. IWM, leading down. We talked about lagging the most. Hits a 20-day bounce. I'd love to see it. Probably need to bring the alarm. Sorry. Let me move that sucker right here. Probably near 194. I'd be very interested in watching what happens at IWM. Gold, you're welcome. Again, this has been easy short, but I personally, again, going into CPI, it doesn't really make sense, right? No. We'll see. Either way, that gap down, chop, take your money. Again, I'm not short gold anymore. I'm short miners because of the miners can get screwed by no matter what happens to gold near term, potentially, if the market gets sold, because, again, they throw the baby out with the bathwater. Geopolitical risk, it's too risky for me to stay short gold. Silver, tough cookies. Just let us down, and now it's chopping here. Again, I don't think I'd short physical names. Miners, they make sense to me. They absolutely make sense, because here we go. Go lower lows. Head and shoulders top on the GDX. Now, if it pounced back to the 50-day, are you going to freak out, or are you going to add more? Or are you going to, again, take some profit and lay around into your position in and out as needed? Personally, I have a comfortable core amount that I'm looking. Again, I'd rather short the market than short dust or buy dust down here and short the miners down here, because, again, you need pops to short, right? You got to trade around your positions. Well, if you're not popping, then I'm not adding at this point. GDXJ trying to break the trend line. Is this a little repeating pattern and bounce? I don't know. Again, miners look like crap to me, but it doesn't mean they can't bounce tomorrow on the CPI, and then you could short them, or just let the winning trade run, because there's no evidence that anything, like, there's any really reason to, like, close the trade. AG's been lagging. We talked about things that make you go, this isn't right with the miners. AEM, gap down, making new lows. Okay, another day. I mean, technically lower low, lower high. Newmont, they got an upgrade today. I think they also have, no, AEM has earnings this week. Yeah, chopping. We'll see. I mean, at some point, it's going to have a 30 handle on it. It's just a matter of when. Pass on it, hit the upper trend line, or the downtrend, upper trend. The down channel, upper trend. Let's try to say that 7 times fast. Looks like poo-poo. MoveOn.org. AMD. We talk about semis bouncing. Well, not surprised. I mean, down a little bit. Choppy top. But remember, that gap is in my opinion, a novice gap. It's just a novice gap trap, right? It takes days. AMD has a history of blow-off tops, but nobody remembers that other than the people who watch these videos. NVIDIA, this thing lagged pretty hard the last 2 days, and then it rallied, chopping. big gap here. That's a professional gap with a range high. So now you have 220 to 223. That's what I'd be watching that for a short. Taiwan semi popped a little bit. Again, it has long wicks every time it gets over this 97 area. Today's just a whole, again, this is why I was telling people, don't spend a ton of time watching today. Like, save your emotional capital. It's a waste of time to really get too involved today. SMH, watching for the alarm, 248. Maybe 251. I don't know. I mean, I pull the trigger on that looking to short, in my opinion. That's a very obvious jump on it. Adobe, yeah, gaps down and chopping. Again, this is the top. It's just, when is it ready? Well, it's probably going to follow the market. Apple, my alarm went off. We got to the top of the range, but I did not fire off anything today because, again, it's just not time, in my opinion. Watch the 154, maybe 155 range. I think that's an absolute easy short. Apple has a history of, it goes straight lines and then chops and fails, or it just fails. You remember this, like, I'm hoping it's kind of like this action up here. So put that in your pipe. I mean, put that in your watch list. Smoking Parmesan, my friend. Smoked Parmesan. Amazon, if you get the reference. Chopping, lagging, again, professional gap. No, novice. And that's the professional one. This thing is dead money. Any pop should probably be shorted. CRM. Again, they got private equity money. This one's a little tougher. I mean, could they get bought out? Probably not. If the company who bought them would have to spend a lot of money. Either way, I mean, it's just chopping. I think there's better names, but just watch it. Google. I mean, nothing's going right for them. But chopping here, is it due to bounce? I'd watch the 20-day. Again, everyone wants to buy it, and it's not acting that well. A pop might draw on some bulls to unload into. You don't want to be the liquidity, right? You don't want to be the exit liquidity. Facebook, we talked about it, holding, breaking the gap and then bouncing back to it. Hence, if you took profits, I wish I would have taken more on Friday. Well, tried this morning, got near 177, 176s. Thank God. I have alarm set 182s. Check that area. Microsoft, I'm impressed. I am impressed. However, set your alarm 275s. We got very close. Will we get there? I don't know. Set your alarm. I think that's an easy short. NDAQ, we talked about lagging. Because of why? No money into tech. No money's going into tech for the long run, y'all. I'm just telling you, that's once the momentum's lost, it's dead money. And if you don't know, watch my Back to Basics video on who wins the tech war. If you want to know the basic premise, the ultimate idea is that it's not tech. Watch the video if you want to understand more. MicroStrategy, not surprised it bounced a little bit. That's a big donkey candle. I'd probably watch 261 if you really want to trade it. Netflix, come to daddy. Would love to see it in the 360s. Set your alerts. Again, chop top. Okay, if it's got to do it, it's got to do it. Fill the gap, maybe. I don't know. Just keep an eye on it. I think, again, a lot of these tech names are going to get pounded at some point. Roblox, somebody said short it. Clearly, you were right. I was wrong. But my biggest problem with shorting this is kind of like shorting gold is that, not that gold can get taken out and go higher, but there's way too many side risk that Roblox gets bought out at 50 or 60, and next thing you know, I'm short and options, kapow, and then a big loss. I just don't want to put that in the table. Tesla, talked about it topping. Here is your top signal. Obviously, okay, well, it's bouncing. Not surprised with the market. Set your alert. I think you see, 200, 201. Hopefully, the higher the better. That's all I would ask if you're shorting. Let it higher the better. Remember Tesla Q. If you can get this thing maybe 45, 46, I think it's easy with defined risk. Let's get into material names. X. Holding up, but chopping after dropping. The top is in. Look at that long wick. We talked about the upper range bound. No good. Chopping here is what it is. Be careful. A lot of these names, again, you just got to expect chop. If the market holds up, they're not necessarily going to crash. That's like rising tide lifts boats, right? Here you go, new core, 20-day, nice trade. That's the entry. Now it bounces. Well, watch the 170 range. Again, you should be able to do this on your own. People ask about a lot, and it's know thy levels. I'm just curious to see if these connect. Okay, kind of, not really. I guess. Let me draw for fun. Funsies. Okay, well, we'll see. I mean, drawing a lot of lines just to see if they connect. I'd be curious to see how we do with this 8 and 10 day. Maybe you could wick over 170. Caterpillar got a big downgrade today, dropped, took the profits on it, rally back. Hell yeah. Waiting, give me the 20 day. Give me this 251 plus. Like, that should be on your radar for a short. Because, again, here's your professional gap. Started the move. And I don't mind some chop. Again, if you are an impatient trader who expects all or nothing moves all the time in swing trading, it's like watching the 10-minute chart and thinking it's going to go in your favor all day. It just doesn't do that. So don't assume the same with daily charts, right? VALE said this is dead, done. I mean, little bounce. Okay, that makes sense to me. It is what it is. Channel high fails. Now broke channel. It's just dead money. I think it can flop around like a dead fish. Arrow talked about copper breaking 20-day. Not bullish, but today's actually, it's bullish. I was like, no, it's just an inside day. Doesn't really tell you much. CCJ, I said I like the 29 short area. We'll see what happens here. I mean, it's slightly above this area, which has a little bit of concern, but it is a gap. It's choppy, and the market's held up. You would think if this thing was really going to go, it'd be at 30s and 31s by now, but it seems to be someone's taking advantage of the market up and liquidity, and they are using it to exit. CCJ. Speaking of C's, CF. Wow. Pop, gap down. I thought it was going to run away on me, but this is why you don't chase. Of course, I'm not going to go long here. I mean, just fill this gap in the mid-70s. Talk to me then. Mosaic pulls back $1. Okay, yeah, it's getting choppy up here. Hits the 200-day, not surprised. NTR hits the 200-day, fail. Rejection. Chopping, nothing really to say. AA you would think would be up because of everyone how bullish is. Making new lows. We talked about aluminum, right? Russia banned, we banned Russian aluminum. You think AA would go fire? No. XLF. Let's get into financials. Playing games with your heart, right? Chopping around. Everyone wants it to fail. I want it to fail, right? It's not yet. CS, Credit Suisse, big freaking monster disaster. Holding up. It's going to go when it's going to go. When is it going to go? I don't know. Call me. When it confirms, I probably going to have to get past the CPI. That's the next hurdle here, right? We'll see what happens here. JP Morgan, Chase, chopping, right? Chopping at the highs. Again, this is why you don't chase. You didn't know if you shorted the 20-day, you got screwed. That's why you just let it come to you. And if it goes, it comes to you, great. If it doesn't, then you know what? You miss out, but you don't lose money. Morgan Stanley chopping at the highs. Can't really say too much good or bad about it. Just it seems like wait and see. Goldman Sachs, same kind of thing. Wait and see. XBI, wow, Baby Bio, still nothing. Still nothing. Doji, indecision day. Again, you would think it would be up $1 or $2. Man, down 6 cents. Things that don't look that bullish to me. Chopping around. We'll see, right? Be safe. Solar, not surprised it bounced. I mean, also, too, they're talking about like a slush fund for solar in the United States. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought I saw a slush fund they're going to create and try to pass. Maybe that's why solar is bouncing today. Whatever. It is oversold. Not technically oversold. No, I mean it's your guess as good as mine because I hate RSI MACD. It's just if the market's going higher, it's going to float up. So maybe watch 78, 79 ENPH. God, this thing is a donkey. Just chopping. It better hold. I mean, if it holds here, maybe it could rally, but if not, it could just be the chop of eternal death and a million paper cuts. Sedge, okay, it's acting a little better. Not surprised it bounced, but this is just choppy and sloppy. First Solar, again, if you took profits this morning, thank God, because now you're looking at it going, all right, you held range lows. Set your alarm for the 170, 170. Again, when it gets up there, watch it. Apologize for the cough. Check it out. Check it out. I think it's very simple. It gets here, it fails. If not, you have a tight stop, you lose a little money. I personally think this thing, at some point, is going to get donkey punched. Can I say that? I don't know. Whatever. Leave a comment below if I can say that on YouTube. Here you go. 20 days rolling down. Did this last time. It kind of curled under it. And then seems fine to me. Let's end it with oil and gas. Again, oil flat today, essentially. Whatever. USO. Don't really have much to say other than not UNG. This thing sucks. It's just holding. Again, is this the best trade out there? I don't know. But if you define your risk and you want to take it, I get it. XOP, watch the 140. It seems to be getting there. And then 100-day after that, again, it's been pretty volatile. People are like, you short in oil and gas? I'm like, no, it's a little too wild for me. Solar seems much easier to short, in my opinion. If you're going to short anything in that space of energy. What up, G? Yeah. Doji after a big green. Could it be big red? Well, we'll see. Keep an eye on it. Thinking about people dropping out of the room, struggling with this mentally. I know how hard it is. New highs, XDiv today. We'll see. It's interesting because, again, obviously it's got to pay out a little bit. We'll see what it's over. This is the monthly trend line. This is like the monthly big donkey, you know what, long-term trend line. Is this a professional or a novice gap? That's the question here. Ask yourself that. We'll see. Occidental. Is it an accident that it's not leading? I don't know. It seems to be chopping. Tough to tell. PXD, this thing's like hasn't gone anywhere. It came off hard. And again, it's up $1 today. I was wondering if it filled a gap. Couldn't even do that. It's just not on my radar. Ended with EQT. Again, trying to make these recaps a little quicker for you guys. I appreciate it. Everybody, please smash the like button. Hit subscribe. Leave a comment. Please leave a comment. I love to interact with the videos. I think it helps others because other people see this stuff and they sometimes might have a question or just good feedback. Again, link for the Discord room is in the description below. EQT. End it here. I mean, these guys couldn't trade out. I mean, they couldn't even manage their own exposure in natural gas. I mean, no wonder their stock looks... I mean, it looks pretty much like the UNG. It's like decaying. Like, some of these natural gas names are holding up decently. This stock has just been absolute punishment. Do you like punishment? Well, then you like EQT. No, I mean, we'll see. At some point, when that gas confirms, maybe, could this be a bear trap of ranges? Maybe. Maybe I'll be eating crow in a week or two. We'll see. Either way, I appreciate everybody. Please be thoughtful. Again, CPI tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern Standard. I don't think the numbers really matter that much. Again, you have to remember the reaction is all that matters. You can be the smartest guy in the room and you can know the numbers just like I can know the earnings numbers, the whisper numbers. I can talk to people who are involved in the company just like you can. You know the numbers. And guess what? We don't know the reaction. The reaction is the key. The reaction is the key. So have a great night. Don't overthink it. Set your alarms. Know your levels. Hit me up if you got questions. Talk to you later. Have a good night.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.